Hello and welcome to all those listening to the sound of my voice. This is Coyote, and this is Bauldurs Gate Enhanced Edition, my first attempt at a Let's Play. Now, this is the edition of Bauldurs Gate that was released, I think it was just over a year ago. They upgraded a lot of the game, and it uses, I would call it the Baldur's Gate 2 engine, but that's even wrong, technically, because they upgraded that engine as well. So there's many upgrades to this game. In addition, I'm using several mods, one of which is the Banter Pack, which is still technically in beta, I believe is what they said, or early release. So it may cause problems or have issues, but that we'll find out. I've yet to have it occur there. Several of the other mods add little items in the game that aren't game breaking. At least none of the ones I've encountered yet are, and I've only played a short practice session to make sure that my recording is working and such forth. But anyway, let us begin. Now, a quick look at the options. I'm not messing with most of this, except I have the music volume down. I tend to find games are slightly better with that. However, if that's a problem and someone really, really wants it up, well, they can ask, and I may increase it. May, mind you. Language is English, obviously. I could set it several of these, but I think that there might be issues. If not for me, then for other people. I'm not going to have subtitles on, and I'll show you why once we get in game. This is all more or less the same. I'm not changing this. I am, however, going to go into the auto pause, and I'm going to pause it at whenever there's a trap found, whenever an enemy sighted, and that'll be it. I was considering weapon unusable, and I'll explain why in game, but we won't be using that there. Feedback, one second. Nope, these are all fine. Yes, very professional, I know. These are all fine. Movies are fine, so back. And let us begin the game. Now, I will be using a character I rolled up, Coyote here, who's a fighter. It took me, well, way too long to roll up these stats. In this game, when you get to stats, you can re-roll until you get stats you like. This stat line is probably, I don't want to say the rarest you'll ever get, but it's pretty damn close, so we'll play with that. He is a fighter. And I'll explain why a little later.
Nestled atop the cliffs that rise from the Sword Coast, the citadel of Candlekeep houses the finest and most comprehensive collection of writings on the face of Farron. It is an imposing fortress kept in strict isolation from the intrigues that occasionally plague the rest of the Forgotten Realms. It is secluded, highly regimented, and it is home. Within these hallowed halls of knowledge, your story begins. You have spent most of your 20 years of life within this keep's austere walls, under the tutelage of the sage Gorion. Acting as your father, he has raised you on 1,000 tales of heroes and monsters, lovers and infidels, battles and tragedies. However, one story was always left untold, that of your true heritage. You have been told that you are an orphan, but your past is largely unknown. Lately, Gorion has been growing distant from you, as if some grave matter weighs heavily on his heart. You have asked about his concerns as gently as possible, but your queries have been in vain. Your sole comfort is the knowledge that he is a wise man, and you know he will tell you when the time is right. Nonetheless, his silence is troubling, and you cannot help but feel that something is terribly wrong. Today, Gorion has appeared more agitated than ever, and now he has uncharacteristically interrupted your chores in the middle of the day, imparting hurried instructions for you to equip yourself for travel. He has handed you what gold he can spare, but given no clue as to why. Nevertheless, you now stand before the Candlekeep Inn, ready to purchase what you need for an unplanned and unexpected journey.
Alright. With that little blurb, you know that my character grew up here in Candlekeep Inn. Now, here at Candlekeep Inn, I, for role-playing purposes, discounted several of the classes I usually would play, mostly because they're more outdoorsy classes, if that makes sense. I like personally playing rangers. And it wouldn't make much sense for someone who's cloistered in a keep this size to be trained as a ranger. Now, this game has some interesting rules when it comes to leveling up. There's this dual class feature, and a little later on we'll explore whether or not I can actually become a ranger. And as I said earlier, my stats are, as one can see, fairly extreme. I feel comfortable in this game series doing that with my characters because rolling until I get these anyway, because of, well, things we'll find out later about the character. Those who know something about the series might understand why. And you'll see that these stats, while putting me a good step above, something for y'all to look at, a good step above the rest of the characters, will not make me a uber-powered beast.
Salted.
Initially, yes, but not in the end.
Salted.
So, as the thing said, we're to come into this inn, which is the only shop we have here. I'll be looting the inn a little later. But first, let me talk to Winthrop.
My hotel's as clean as an elven arse.
Well, hello there, young one. Come to visit your old pal Winthrop, have ye? Well, don't forget the 10,000 gold book entrance fee, as per Candlekeep custom, don't you know? You are always a big kidder, Winthrop. That gets funnier every time I hear it. Well, perhaps not quite so often. Ah, just having a bit of fun with ye, my friend. The monks may be walking around with poles and anethers, but you know you're always welcome here in my sight. Gorion did well by ye, he did. So, is there anything I can do for ye? Drinks, rooms to sleep in, anything to buy? Sure, what do you have? I will not be resting in Candlekeep Inn. We'll, however, be selling some things. As I said, I played this character in part of a test demo. Just this first initial tutorial area, and because of that, I already have equipment and some things to sell, which enables me to, again, get a slight step up on the average player of this game, but not so much that I feel it's game-breaking. As y'all all see later, I will get my ass handed to me just as handily by the critters that we fight as before. Also, I'm going to do a little bit of metagame buying for later. Once again, someone who's played this game before, or any games in these series, will notice these are stacking higher than they should. I'm not sure if that's a enhanced edition change, or if it's a change due to... Okay. Or if it's a change due to one of the mods I have, which is convenient ammunition, which will enable me to buy later on some mundane unlimited arrow quivers and such not. Quick explanation about the game rules, I think. These are weapons. Yes, I know, obviously. The statistics in the weapons, the damage roll is exactly that, it's a dice. This damage means that it's going to be rolling 1d8 dice, and it's going to be doing slashing damage. Speed factor is how quickly you can smack people with the weapon. And speed factor of 5 is better than a speed factor of 8. Lower the speed factor, the better. However, in the case of these two weapons, this bastard sword, which I considered wielding for a very, very short time, the biggest reason I didn't end up wielding these is because essentially you don't gain that much in the damage area, and there's very few that they're slower, and there's very few enchanted versions of them. So I went with longswords for Coyote here. I also considered ninjatos, katanas, washitashis, and scimitars, but again decided against it for similar reasons. I also am going to buy some throwing axes, simply for the reason that Coyote doesn't have proficiency in any type of ranged weapons, so I figured just grabbing some throwing axes, because they're the same price as throwing daggers and do, well, a bit more damage. The throwing dagger does d4, while a throwing axe does a d6 plus 1. I don't believe, no. Yes, I can. In this game, you can actually smash people in the face with your throwing axes too, which is fun. I had to check something there. In the 3rd edition of the game, this is based on D&D 2nd edition, I believe. Either that or 2.5. But in 3rd edition, clubs can actually be thrown like daggers, and I wanted to check to see if that was true in this. I wanted to check damage on dart as well. I have not played Bauldurs Gate all that much. I have a little bit, so you'll be seeing me preempting a few things just by, doing them. This is the equipment screen. As I said earlier, really interesting. Well, apparently I can't equip those axes I just bought, so completely useless. I will throw these up in the quiver, however. I may not have a bow, but it also takes them out of my inventory. I'm a little upset that I can't use throwing axes, though. Oh well. This is locked. Now, if I was a thief, I'd have an option right about here that I could click that would enable me to pick the lock. I'm not a thief. However, I'm a big, strong fighter. And this game allows me to bash locks open. You see here I have successfully forced lock. This, by the way, is the reason I did not turn on subtitles, because this tracker keeps track of just about everything that happens in the game. Now I'll take some scrolls. Those are the same scrolls I had before, for essentially the same reason. I took them from that box. Now,
I'm on it.
this box over here, these people are sleeping. That means they cannot see me, and they cannot, well, report me for stealing their stuff. Why am I taking their stuff? Well, Coyote here has a little lax view on morals.